Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a lockdown Saturday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go up to our friends up in tropical North Queensland. And of course, we're heading to talk with the Douglas Hockey Association Association president, I should say, and his name is Greg. He joins us right now. Thanks, Greg, for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Will. Excited to talk to you.
No worries. Well, this time next week, of course, you'll be very busy with, of course, the annual of the beach hockey tournament up there in Port Douglas.
We are. It's our second year of running beach hockey. We're the only place in Australia that runs beach hockey. So it's a new sport in the country, and it's Port Douglas at the moment is the home of beach hockey.
Be out at 4 Mile Beach. Of course, for that one single day. Tell us, how's the preparations and the, organising been like in the lead up to next Saturday?
Good, Will. Look, this is our second year of running the tournament. Last year, we started off with a competition just from teams in the Douglas Shire, where we are. We had 8 junior teams and 8 senior teams. So it was a bit of a test case for us to see that we could manage it. We had one giant inflatable blow-up pitch, which we used to play the tournament in. This year, we've got teams coming from Cooktown, Cairns, Atherton and Townsville. And we have 2 giant pitches. The Douglas Shire Council have funded a second pitch. So it's a big deal. There'll be about 160 plus players attending on the day. We start at 8:30 in the morning and we finish at 4. So it's a full program. But we learned a lot last year about how to do it, and this year it's a lot smoother sailing setting it up.
Now, you mentioned about the 4 regional teams that will be coming up, other than yourselves, Townsville, Cairns, Atherton and Cooktown. I guess how important was to get especially the 2 major big cities of Townsville and Cairns?
Oh, look, we always wanted to have a plan to bring teams, not just do it from the Douglas Shire, but bring teams from inter-region. And longer term, when COVID moves on and the borders open up, we're hoping maybe next year we can bring teams from interstate. And long term, it might be teams from overseas when teams can fly in. But to get regional teams was a fantastic opportunity for us, and we've had a lot of enthusiastic responses to do that.
You mentioned it's going to be a jam-packed program of events as well, on top of just, the actual beach hockey events. But what other events have you got in store other than just hockey for people that are in Queensland and are able to go up to the Douglas area?
Aside from 4 Mile Beach, which is probably one of the best beaches in far north Queensland, there's quite a lot of activities in the Douglas Shire. So you've got the Daintree Rainforest, which is about an hour and a half north of here. So it's a World Heritage listing rainforest. And of course, you've got the Great Barrier Reef just off Port Douglas. So people come up here to go and see those wonders. The town of Port Douglas itself is amazing. It's a small tourist town. It's quite quaint. Lots of great restaurants, lots of great beaches. It's a beautiful spot to come and visit.
Obviously, it's always beautiful weather up in Queensland. Have you been sort of keeping track on how the weather's going to be like, hopefully, on Saturday?
Oh, you betcha. We had it in September last year. So normally the best 2 months in this part of the region are September, October. But of course, in November, the rainy season starts and the humidity goes up. So it's going to be pretty warm next Saturday. But looks like the weather's good. The tides are most importantly important.
Yes.
Because last thing we want is to have our beach hockey pitches floating out to the Coral Sea. So the tides look good. The weather looks good. It's in the 30s, low 30s. No wind. It'll be a beautiful day, but it'll be quite warm.
One thing I really want to talk about in regards to the hockey side of things, obviously you've got the junior teams, senior teams, mixed teams, but you've got celebrity teams as well that are able to register. Have you had any much interest about the celebrity teams?
Well, we have. We've got quite a few celebrities from some of the local radio stations and people from the council. Councillors are coming to play. One of our big celebrities is going to be a lady by the name of Tony Crone. Now, Tony was an Olympic goalkeeper. She went She's in the Hockey Roos, the women's national team, and she went to the Athens and London Olympics. So she's coming up here to play in the tournament. So, and also after the tournament, she's going to run some goalie clinics. So she's an elite athlete, and it'd be great to have her here. She's a lovely, lovely woman to have join us.
Now, you mentioned about Tony Crone a moment ago. How did you expect to get her to come up and obviously be involved in this, and especially to run some amazing clinics for the local kids up there?
We work closely with Hockey Queensland, and in fact, the CEO of Hockey Queensland is also attending the events next week. But they mentioned that Tony was travelling Australia at the moment, and she just happened to be up in this part of the world. I think she was in Darwin. And so we contacted each other, and I said, come to play beach hockey. And so she agreed. And she also said she was going to do some clinics for us. And we're even thinking to get her up to Cooktown, which is a new region for us for hockey. So she'll go up there with us and do some things up in that area.
Obviously, when everyone thinks of hockey up in Queensland, in particular, especially up in the far north, they're obviously Townsville and Cairns are the two major ones people think of. But how important is, like yourselves there in Douglas and Atherton and the Cooktown area, how important is hockey up there?
Atherton's been going for quite a while. They're a small association. I moved here 7 years ago to the Douglas Shire. I was working with Cairns Hockey and Queensland Hockey. But I had a look around the Shire here, and there was no hockey being played in the Shire at all. There's AFL, rugby, netball. It's quite a strong region for sport, but there's no one with a hockey stick in their hand. So I went to all the local primary schools and high school and said, look, are you interested in doing something with the hockey program? And I thought if I got 2 schools or 3 schools, that'd be pretty great. But all schools said, oh, we'd love to do hockey. So this was 2018. So we did a program in all the schools in 2019. We established Douglas Hockey Association, and it's gone from there into, we had, I think, 160 members in our first year for our association. We now have the rights to take hockey all the way through the Cape, through Cape York. So that's from Cooktown up to all the way up to Thursday Island, Arakoon, a lot of those indigenous communities. So our plan is to do that in the next year or two. But it's a new growth area for the sport of hockey. It's exciting.
You mentioned about obviously the actual local council, the Douglas Shire Council, has I guess assisted with the funding for the second pitch on the day. How important has the council been in regards to everything to do with the Hockey Association?
It's been amazing. When I first started Douglas Hockey, I first went to the mayor, met the mayor, and we had a chat about the sport. And she was very supportive for developing the sport in the area. And in fact, the council have just done a new sports master plan for the Douglas Shire for all sports. So they've put a provision in for the future for a synthetic hockey pitch. Now, obviously, that's got to be funded by federal and state money. It's not a cheap exercise, but they see that hockey is a growth sport in the Shire. So they're looking for us to maybe have an AstroTurf in the future, maybe in the next 2 years. So we love working with them. They're very, very supportive.
About that, I guess going forward, how important was to get that, response in regards to, consider all other sports that goes on. And I know Far North Queensland is probably the most fanatic sports hub in Queensland compared to what is down south of Queensland. I guess how important is to get the council on board, especially to put so much effort into the hockey side of things compared to some of the other sports that has already been established?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. They have to be, realistic to support all the sports here, whether it's a tiny sport or it's a large, like AFL or rugby up in this region. But they want to get more people getting back into sport. Kids, obviously there's an obesity issue in the whole of the country, so they want to get kids moving and playing sport. So they see us as being just one of a number of sports that can help towards that cause. We also work with the state government. Cynthia Liu, who is our state member for the Cook region, she's our patron of our hockey association. So we work with her, and also our federal minister, Warren Inch, supports hockey in the area. So they all think hockey is a good sport for this region, and they want kids and adults and mature age people moving and playing wonderful sports like hockey.
There as well, you mentioned about the indigenous up there, especially from, I guess, Cairns up to Thursday Island, as you mentioned, to the tip of the country. How's the participation rates in regards to the indigenous, and especially how much effort has gone into that?
Oh, look, we've had a lot of effort go into developing young indigenous kids, especially boys and girls. They're amazing athletes, and it's quite fascinating. They pick up the sport really quickly, Will. I mean, they run around, they're quick, you give them a hockey stick or a football, and they pick it up, and they love to play sport. There are challenges in the communities. It's not an easy thing. But once the kids, if you go through the school programs and you get the kids interested in playing a sport, you then have to get them going into a club situation. Now, some of the Aboriginal communities are quite remote. So there's no hockey clubs, or there's no rugby clubs in Arakoon or Bloomfield or Bamaga and places like that. So we're trying to set up a structure where those regions, they can play in an inter-community competition long term. It's a big job.
Yeah.
But if the kids like a sport, if they like it, they've got to be able to play a game. That's what it's all about. It's not just having a hit and not seeing somebody from hockey or AFL or anything, not for another 12 months. It's got to be continuous. But they're great. They're great for hockey. We love it. It was interesting last year, Will. We've got junior teams and we've got senior teams. The kids that won last year's competition were from Groot Island.
Oh, wow.
Which is off the Northern Cape. And they won the beach hockey tournament. And they were just amazing athletes. They were lovely. So.
Well, I guess following up from that then, are they coming back to try to defend that title?
Yeah, it's a bit scary. They are focused and ready for action. So. And they're lovely kids. They actually they board in Wonga, which is just north of Port Douglas. They board out there and get looked after. So, they want to get there. They want to get another set of medals around their neck.
Yes, absolutely. You've been the president of the association. What does the sport of hockey mean to you?
So I've been playing since I was 13. I'm from Melbourne, so I played club hockey, state hockey. I've coached hockey in Melbourne. I've coached in the UK. I've coached in South Africa and coached in Queensland. So I've had an extensive career. I'm still playing. So it's I guess I'm a bit of a hockey tragic, but my passion is to get kids playing the sport. I get a real buzz going into a school and seeing kids smile when they can hit a ball around and pick up the skills. So it means a lot to me to be still involved at my age.
You mentioned you're from here in Melbourne, played down here in Melbourne. I guess, do you follow how your old club is going down here? And you might as well tell us who that is.
No, I played, my father played hockey in Tasmania and then he moved to Victoria. So I played for St Kilda Hockey Club before they became a St Kilda powerhouse. So I played from under-13s down at Albert Park Lake for many years. I then played at Croydon Hockey Club.
Yes.
At Silcock Reserve for a long time. And I played for Waverley and I played at Thames for a bit. So, but I still keep in touch with a lot of my old St Kilda hockey buddies. I think they still get together once a year and have a bit of a reminisce about the old days.
You mentioned about your time overseas. You mentioned about the UK and South Africa. What have you learnt from playing over there or and coaching over there?
Well, a lot of different styles in the two countries I coached. I was in South Africa for a year in a little town called Potchefstroom, which is 100 k's north of Johannesburg. They had beautiful astroturfs there at a university. It's a bit like the indigenous community here. Obviously, hockey is growing in South Africa. But they were playing it wasn't a skillful brand of hockey. It was a more physical brand of hockey.
Okay.
And they're a little bit behind in some of the development, but they're growing quickly. I spent 2 years in the UK coaching National League, just outside of London, and then I went over to Cardiff in Wales and coached there. So they have a very strong hockey community playing there. The standard of hockey is very high there, and it was great to be involved in that. But they play a different style of hockey to what we play in Australia. It's a bit more conservative, defensive, although they're developing. Australia's off to attack and share the ball around.
Yeah. Same South Africa brand of hockey more towards us, or was it more towards the UK?
Probably more towards the UK now, I would think. There's a lot of coaches from the UK that coach in South Africa, but I think they learn a lot from all the different countries. I think a place like South Africa gets the best of Australia, the best of the Dutch, the best of the Germans, and tries to get their players to do that. They struggle with finances and running the sport there, where England's cash rich, Australia does well financially.
Now, you mentioned about obviously coaching in Queensland as well. As I know, Queensland is very good at its hockey side of things. Okay, I think they've pretty much won a lot of national championships, and obviously the recent Hockey One competition as well. Why do you think Queensland's more loved in their hockey than most states?
Well, I think they've got a good development program here. They have good facilities, but most of the states do as well. But I think their high performance section is doing a good job. They've got elite coaches that are running a good program. It's all based in the southeast of Queensland, down in the Brisbane area. So unfortunately, a lot of the players don't necessarily come from up our area. But I think places like Rockhampton and Mackay and those regions do very well for hockey. So Jamie Dwyer and players like that have come from the regions, and they've run good programs in their associations. But I mean, I was coaching Super League when I first moved up here, and Super League was their high performance inter-region competition, and I got to see a lot of those guys playing, and it was a strong competition. But Victoria has a strong comp too, and so does New South Wales.
Everyone that, especially in the far north, that should get involved in hockey, especially the Douglas Hockey Association. What would be your advice to them?
Well, I think when you come up this way, give us a call. You'll always get a game when you come up here, so you're welcome at any time. We do a winter season, outdoor winter season. We're just about to start an indoor season, so we go 12 months of the year. The weather is a challenge. It does get pretty warm up in this area.
Yes.
But you acclimatise pretty quick. But it's a welcoming association. You'll always get a game. Come up and have a hit. And certainly if you come up for beach hockey, you've got to contact us for that. There'll always be a position for that. It's a fun thing to see. Hopefully we can send you some videos and you can have a look at it after we finish this weekend.
And you just mentioned about beach hockey. Obviously, there's only one this weekend. Are you planning to do more of these beach hockeys, like obviously with the weather being perfect, obviously, but are you planning to do more of this beach hockey, not just like this once a year thing?
Plan, Will, is to take beach hockey national. So we hope to have a beach hockey structure running in Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia, Darwin, WA, and of course Queensland. So our plan is to do that from 2022 on. So we are looking for people that will work with us on a license arrangement to run beach hockey on all the great beaches around the country. So we've had 2 years of setting this up. So now we want to share it for the whole of Australia. It'd be great to have something on St Kilda Beach or, and having a tournament down there. And the plan is also to have a national Queensland playing Victoria and WA. So have a national competition.
I'm sure the Vics will love to be involved in that, considering so much. Obviously, most of our sports have been cancelled the last 2 years. So I'm sure they'll be keen for that in 2022. But Greg, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show, and especially to tell us a bit about, of course, the Sandy Sticks beach hockey tournament coming up at Port Douglas next Saturday, and hopefully all goes well, and especially fingers crossed that the weather and the tides stay nice for at least that Saturday, and we'll wish everyone all the best up there next weekend.
Well, thanks, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future. It'd be great. Thanks for your time.
No worries, and that's Greg there joining us from the Douglas Hockey Association. Of course, he's the club president up there, and of course, we'll put all the details up on how you can still get involved there if you're in the Queensland area, and of course, to get involved in beach hockey. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.